So, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa. I'm so glad I've continued this. Yeah, this, no, yeah, this, yeah, on YouTube and Facebook. And I met someone yesterday who said something just Birmingham Leicester with a partner, and she said those 2 years were so hard for me and my family. And she said, but every week when we listen to the meditation, listen to some of those words, it kind of gave you something to hold on to. And she said, only now I realize what it's meant for me in my health and well-being compared to those around me who I try to ask, this is what we should be doing, vitamin D, da 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 da. She said, and now they're all saying, we should listen to you. Because she's in a better space, able to. And it was a throwaway thing, but it really did make a difference on how I perceive these things. And then I have people from other parts of the world, in other languages, that will say, oh, we heard this, and someone's translated some of the stuff, some of the meditations into Spanish, and he's doing some kind of a study on that group or whatever they're doing. So it's amazing that we do these little things, not really thinking much about them, but they have far-reaching consequences, which are transformative in life. Okay, so they are transformative in life. And when we mean transformative life, what do we mean? We mean when we wake up first, not wake up, when we first encounter something like meditation or mindfulness or anything like that, there is a sense of awakening from the constant drama that people used to live in. And in that awakening, the flowers are brighter, the birds are chirpier, life is better, and life is good. Okay? So there's this awakening. This is but a mere little pinprick, critical, but a pinprick into what unfolds now. So I was thinking to myself, what shall I be covering this month of February? Because the month of February has many changes upon us. And we need to maintain our composure while the revolution is taking place. And the revolution is the revolution of the mind. And as the revolution of the mind comes out, which is everywhere now, so to all our brothers and sisters in Ottawa, fantastic. Barcelona, fantastic. Italy, fantastic. Anywhere in the world, like the Punjab farmers stood their ground. And it tells us people have the power to do things. Okay, so as this change is taking place, much is changing. One of the things that will take place and is taking place is, what does it mean to be human? What's the point of your life? What has been the point of your life? Right? What is life per se? In order to get to those kind of bigger questions, we need to focus on the immediate. To get to the ultimate, you need to focus on the immediate. And the immediate is the body that you have. Well, how much do you know about it? Are you this body? Truly, not this bullshit spiritual stuff that we have. Oh no, I'm not the body, I'm just a spirit having this physical. No, none of that stuff. Genuinely, what do you identify with? What do you identify with? Do you identify with your physical form that you see in the mirror, that you dress up, that you have a particular image of, or you try and convey an image? Is that what you identify with? Do you identify with your distress and your pain and all the conflicts that are going on? Do you identify with that? That God, I am in such suffering, or why doesn't all get its act together and sort things out and we can all get on with life? Yeah. Do you identify with that? Do you identify with the fact that you are being bullied and fearful. And that's all you identify with. What am I going to do if I don't do this or don't do this? They might kick me out of my job. What do you identify with? Are you at that point identifying with the body or identifying with the mind? Yeah. Thirdly, when you're asleep and you dream, you don't identify with this body, do you? Because the other body, your dream body, can do things that this body can't do. Can be in different places, walk through walls, fly, be torn up to pieces but still be together. So we have another body when we're dreaming. Let's call it our dream body. But it's very real. When we're dreaming, it's very real, and we all have one. Then there's a third one. And your third body is the body when you are sleeping and you're not dreaming. But you still exist, don't you? You just don't know you exist. Just like right now, all your relationships exist. Your mothers and your fathers and your partners and the haters and the lovers, all of that. But the moment you go to sleep, where do they go? See what I'm trying to bring for your understanding? That what we identify with may not be the whole picture. Maybe just part of the picture. And by identifying with the body, we may miss something else. So, according to the understanding and the experiences that I come with, the only method of recognizing who and what you are is through meditation. Through meditation, we can go in. Because the body is only reflected in the mirror. To know who you are, you need to go inwards. When you go inwards, the first encounter that you have is your thoughts. Thoughts, all the nonsense. Just the nonsense of this world. Right? That's the first bit. We go a bit deeper, we start listening to the breath or something, use whatever technique we're using, we go a bit deeper. What do I mean by deeper? That noise becomes irrelevant. We are now more identifying with the space that's silent, the space that's peaceful, the space that's calm. We identify with that space. No? Oh, okay. So our identification begins to shift as we become more and more aware of what's going on. So from the body, we move in through with the breath to our inner space, and by that I mean your thoughts and your emotional space. And as you go a bit deeper, you get into this quieter space. This quieter space that you get into, if you are observant, not that you fall asleep or you become, get into that stupor, but if you're awake, aware of being in that silent space, you begin to realize many things, many things. You begin to realize that you have thoughts, but you're not your thoughts. You begin to realize that everything around you that is moving, etc., changing, and is in absolute chaos, but you are not. There is clarity. There is a sense of grounding. And as we sit in that space, other things become visible. It's like walking into a dark room. If you stay there long enough, you begin to realize what's where. And something similar happens within that space. Through that, we genuinely, authentically, and experientially begin to recognize we have a body, but we are not the body. We have thoughts and emotions and feelings, but we are not them because they're changing. We get a bit further and we realize that constant, um, the constant state of permanency, the thing that's always the same, is that when you go deeper within yourself, you always get to this silent space. That silence, that stillness, that peacefulness is consistent. It's consistent. And if something is consistent, it begins to have its own trust. The flame is consistently hot. Consistently. Touch it today, it's hot. Touch it tomorrow, it's hot. Touch it the day after, it's hot. The same is for this consistent place. We begin to trust what heat is. We begin to trust what the flame is. The same will happen with you. We begin to trust, not that there is someone to trust, like there is a me who's going to trust someone. It's not that kind of trust. It's a certainty. It's a knowing and a certainty that all that you are, all that you have been taught to think that you are, by the society, by the religions, by all of that, is but a tiny piece of what you are. A tiny piece, a mere nothingness. You are capable of healing yourself. You are capable of being sovereign, exercising yourself. You are capable. How do you think people who don't bury people, don't cut bodies up, how do the people in India know that there were 72,000 channels, nadis in your body? How did they know that? Which book did they read? How did they know that? How did the Eastern, Middle East, Far Eastern acupunctural, mama points, acupuncture, how did they know? Don't cut the body up, how do you know? We have very advanced technology today, and it can't detect that. How does it know? How do you know there's 7 chakras and not 9 or 11? How do you know? How do you know that the same technique, the same individuals who know all of that have now been shown to be correct? That yoga works, breathing exercises work, they reduce blood pressure. Ayurveda works, medicine plants work. Why? Because they're tested throughout time. How did they learn? Who taught them? Human capacity. Human capacity. Human capacity to be able to read things. Human capacity to travel. Human capacity. Do you think it is possible that if you have a dream body, do you think that it's possible to be in control of that dream body? Like you're in control of this body, you can get up and go. Do you think you could have a dream body that you have control over? They say, I think I'll go in, I don't know, watch some ballet. And you go and do that. Do you think it's possible? Yes, very much so. Lucid dreaming, very much so. Then what are you? You are not the physical. You're not even the dream body. Only by recognizing all these capacities that we have do we begin to recognize the enormity of what it means to be human. And this crisis that humanity has been graced with over the last 2.5 years is to wake us up, to wake all of us up from this body-centric, celebrity worshipping, fickle, superficial existence of a life that will never come again in the same way. And one more question. What's the point of knowing who we are? What's the point? So what? I find out I am nothing more than the expression of existence, whatever you want to call it. So what? What difference does that make? Right. The answer to that question is you exist right now, don't you? Yes. In order for you to exist now, you must have existed before. Like when you were asleep, you didn't exist. When you woke up, you told me you exist. So, you and I have all been recycled. This is what happens. Your physical body disintegrates, your dream body, part of the mind stuff, awareness, whatever you want to call it, is the next bit. Never go away. So, how many times you want to go through the same stuff? How many times do you want to experience loss, grief, death, love, joy? How many times? And that's the point. The point of all of this self-realization is to escape this cycle. Now, use the word escape is a little bit misleading. Yeah, because it's not like you get away from anything. But the process of living, dying, rebirth, living, dying, and our interactions, our hate for each other, our love for each other, our attachment for each other will determine where you're coming. Will determine where you're coming. So if you are attached to your property, your physical space, then that's probably where you're going to end up. Whatever your last space is will determine your next one. So what do you think it's going to be? Will you be thinking where your mobile phone is? Will we be thinking, has COVID got to us? Where do you think your mind will be? Now, this brings us now to the real value of meditation. If we practice meditation with the breath, there are two forms: the empty breath and the full breath. All right, so for a moment, bring your focus to your breath. Okay, just for a moment. And as your breath flows, just let it flow by itself. Allow the in-breath to reach its maximum capacity by itself. And then when it feels right, for the out-breath to begin, right? So you're just allowing the breath to be the breath. Stay with your breath. Okay. On your next breath in, I want you to count as the breath comes in, begin your count and see when your count ends, when the breath ends. So as the breath comes in, you begin your count within your mind, stops, and as the breath goes out, you begin the count again. Okay. Deep breath in and relax. Okay. So, were you able to mentally go with the count? Most of us, yeah. You were able to count. What was the number? Where did you get to? 1 to 5, 1 to 10, 1 to 8, 1 to 4, 5, 6. Okay. How do you know you went to 1 to 5 or 1 to 6? How do you know? Because you were listening to it. No? Yeah? All right. That's how you know. Oh, 1 to 4, because I was listening to a bloody thing. But your mind wasn't anywhere else. All right. Now that is a breath that we filled with numbers. What if we filled that breath with a sacred sound? What if we fill that breath with a sacred sound? So we begin mentally to synchronize a sound with the breath. And as we maintain awareness of that sound, listening, lowering it down, that sound allows us to connect to that which is your very source, our very source, whatever you want to call it, godliness, God, whatever you want to call it, makes no difference. It's your source of existence, but it's not outside, it's inside. And if we get into a habit and training of being able to do that, of course, we'll manage our anxiety and stress and depression. All that is fairly, just side effects of this particular practice. However, by doing and repeating this practice constantly or as much as possible, one, we begin to disengage from the psychodramas. Two, we begin to cultivate a very deep connection with a particular sound that has a sacred significance to us. Okay, sacred significance. So, Allahu, Ava Maria, Vaiguru, Satnam, Soham. There's hundreds of them, each one from different traditions. So, for today's practice, we will use the word so and the word hum. Soham. So, on the breath in, the sound is so. On the breath out, the sound is hum. And the sound is elongated to synchronize with the complete breath. And we'll do it later on in our meditation. Now, through this particular practice, we begin to cultivate neurologically and various other ways changes within ourselves. That when we get overwhelmed, we are able to connect to that which brings us to a space of not just calm and tranquility, but that which enlightens us or enables us to have that sovereignty, because it is the very source of your life, the very source of being, existence, or whatever you want to call it. And much traditions, we have many accounts of how this practice with sincerity allows you to almost change the reality that you're in. And there is one particular individual from Spain who, maybe I'll share that story some other time, who demonstrated that. So the meditation is mindfulness. We're adding a sound to it while we're doing it. We're learning how to connect our awareness to something that grounds it in the moment of being overwhelmed. And if you ground it with that which is sacred in itself, then there's a level of trust and a level of certainty that allows us to navigate death itself. And that's the point of meditation. Yeah. Anyway, let's get on with it. Went long-winded way, but so the next few weeks, I want to open up this whole dialogue of how to see the human body beyond just the physical body, how to recognize the 9 doors, the 10th hidden door, how to recognize how the breath works, how the breath separates in its 5 components, more detailed stuff on what it means to be human. Yeah. Anyway, so as usual, back is straight. Eyes are closed, mouth is closed. Shoulders are pulled back. Chest is open. Your heart, my heart, is the very center of our being. There is much that can change with our heart. So as you breathe in, bringing your focus to your body as a whole. And all we're doing at this stage is simply getting a sense of our body, physical body. And as we get a sense, there may be aches, there may be pains, there may be tightness, itches, coolness, warmth, heat. We begin to notice that. Okay. Our intention is always to be present to our experience of life right now. And if you imagine a hula hoop above your head, and this hoop has two functions. As it comes down, it's going to scan your body, lighting up any sensations within your body that are dominant. And at the same time, it's going to push all stale energy from the top of your head all the way down into the ground. So when you begin, hula hoop above your head, and allow it to begin to come down. Scanning your body all the way down, removing any stale energy into the ground itself. Next breath in. Once again, get a sense of your body and bring your focus now to the chair or the floor that you're on. Notice the sensations where your body makes contact with the floor or the seat. And bringing your focus up towards your hips, gently moving it down towards your thighs, sensing your thighs, sensing underneath your thighs, getting to your knees. From your knees, you move down towards your ankles, moving to your feet, and then finally the soles of your feet. Bringing your focus back to where your body makes contact with your seat. Notice that the back is straight and upright. As you breathe in, bringing your focus gently up your back, scanning your lower back, scanning your middle back. Notice your shoulders. From your shoulders, we move down to our elbows. From our elbows, we move down towards our wrists. Noticing the palms of our hands. And then noticing the fingers on our hands. Gently bring your focus up towards your eyes. Notice the darkness. Aware of the fact that you have awareness of the darkness. As you breathe out, you relax your eyes. Next breath in, bring your focus towards your mouth, in particular your tongue. Notice if your tongue feels soft or if it feels firm. If it's soft, no need to make it firm. If it's firm, allow it to soften. Next breath out, allow your face to soften. On your next breath in, bringing your focus to your body as a whole once again. Quick scan to notice if there's anything dominant. Need to know what's going on with the body itself. And with your next breath in, bringing your focus to your inner space. And by that we mean our thoughts, our dream body, let's call it that, Antakaran, inner space, our thoughts and our feelings, the kaleidoscopes of change. Bringing your focus towards your thoughts, notice the kind of thoughts that are present there now. How does the mental space feel? Fatigued, tired, exhausted, fresh, light? Mentally, how would you describe you feel at this moment? Bringing your focus now towards your chest. Just holding it, watching the chest move as the breath comes in and the breath goes out. There are tiny little sensations, subtle sensations within. See if you can notice them. Bring your focus a bit deeper into your chest. Allowing it to settle almost in the middle of your chest, center of your body. And as you hold your awareness there, you begin to recognize how you're feeling right now. Giving yourself time to recognize how this moment feels. Do you feel settled, unsettled? Next breath out. Begin to listen to the sounds around. And again, we allow the sounds to come to us. We're not looking for them. We're not seeking them out. We're not trying to work them out. We're simply open, listening. Listening. Gently bring your focus just beneath your nose. Begin to watch your breath. Allowing your breath to breathe by itself. When you find that your focus has been hijacked by a sound or some thinking, notice the distraction, come back to your breath. A commitment to notice when the in-breath begins, when it ends, when the out-breath begins, when it ends. Allowing the breath to breathe by itself. Watching the start and the end of your in-breath, watching the start and the end of your out-breath, as best as you can. Commitment to yourself to remain focused. Stay with your breath. Stay with your breath. Follow your out-breath all the way till the end. And as we follow the out-breath all the way till the end, we allow the body to relax a little bit further. Allowing that out-breath to remove any trace of tension, any trace of anxiety or stress from your body. Allowing each out-breath to move you deeper and deeper into this moment. Giving yourself the permission to be totally present to your breath. Stay with your breath. Notice there's a tiny little gap at the end of your out-breath before the in-breath begins. See if you can notice that. Now your out-breath, as you follow it to the end, notice that gap. Notice how long the gap lasts. Notice how the breath feels now. Notice if the breath feels light or it feels heavy, labored. Does your breath feel long or does it feel short? Does your breath feel fast or does it feel slow? Stay with your breath. Stay with your breath. And now we gently add our sacred sound, synchronized with the breath. And the sound is simply so hum. And as we are mentally reciting that, synchronized with the breath, we listen to it, extending the sound from the start as the breath comes in all the way till the end. And the same as the breath goes out. Listening intently. Stay with the soul, stay with the hum. Stay with the sound. And as you recite the sound within yourself, you begin to lower its volume. So it begins to fade. Fade in the sound itself, as though someone is reducing the volume within you. But the mind maintains reciting the so and the hum. Listening to it. moving deeper and deeper within yourself. Allow the sound to act like a magnet, drawing you deeper and deeper into yourself. Allow the sound of this to move you towards the center, the silence from where you can hear the pulse so hum. Follow the bell, listening, simply listening until you enter silence. Gently bring your focus with your nose, and once again connecting with your breath. Gently listening to the in-breath as it comes in, listening to the out-breath as it goes out. Notice how you feel. Notice the peacefulness, notice the silence, the calmness. Place of safety, a place of security. On your next breath out, expanding your awareness so you become aware of the body again. Notice how still the body feels. You're in the same place you began. Your seat holds you in place. There are sensations where the body makes contact with your seat. You can sense your thighs. Move your focus from your knees towards your ankles. Become aware of your feet. And then becoming aware of the soles of your feet. Notice that the back is straight and upright. Shoulders, arms, hands are relaxed. Eyes are closed, mouth is closed, and the face is relaxed. Bringing your focus back to your breath. And now, as you breathe in, you can sense your body. As you breathe out, you can sense your body. Breathing in, you can sense your body. Breathing out, you can sense your body. When you hear the next bell, use this bell to draw a few deep breaths in. At your own good time, if you wish, you can open your eyes. Take